Most of you are going through life asking the wrong questions. Now, if you ask the wrong questions, you automatically get the wrong answers. And this is especially true in marriage. And just in a second here, I'm going to give you some vital questions you have to be asking, both the man and the wife. All right, husband and wife, you got to ask these questions if you want an extraordinary marriage. So what happens if you go through life and you're consistently asking low quality questions? Like, what's the end result? Like, seriously answer that, especially in your marriage. If you're going through your marriage and you're asking yourself the wrong questions and therefore getting the wrong answers, what does that lead to? Well, you get frustrated, you get distant, and sometimes you get divorced, right? In a way, you guys, life is a process of finding the right answers. And the first vital step to getting the right answers for life and for marriage is to ask the right questions. So now if we ask the wrong questions perpetually, chronically, I'll give you some examples of some low quality questions, right? Then it's downhill. But what happens if you ask the right questions, right? I'm trying to paint out two paths for you. One is low quality questions. You keep asking, you keep getting the wrong answers. The other is high quality questions. You keep asking, you keep getting the right answers, better answers. Well, you get the right answers, right? And it changes your life. Ask the right questions, get the right answers, and you get the right life. And especially in extraordinary marriage. So I want to share, after you guys, so I grew up in a broken home where it was marriage, divorce. My parents divorced when I was little, and then stepdads came and went. I just saw marriage fighting divorce. And I know they were doing the best they can, the best they knew how, and I'm no judgment there. But I saw failed marriages. And then I moved out on my own at a young age, and I was living in tough circumstances, right? I was poor, I was broke, and I was surrounded by people who didn't know how to have good relationships either. And so I was just seeing marriage and divorce and fighting and contention and domestic violence. And I remember at like 16, just like, I will not live like that. Like, I am not going to have a marriage like that. And I started taking notes literally as a 16-year-old. Like, this is what I want my marriage to be like. This is what it's not going to be like. This is what I'm not going to do. This is what I am going to do. And I started looking for all this. And then now, I've over 20 years now, I've had the opportunity to work with couples and families and youth and adults all across the world, across 5 continents literally, in all kinds of different settings, and with wealthy families and with really poor families and families from different religions and different backgrounds. And there's some common denominators I found in marriage, and I want to share with you questions that work and questions that don't work. And specifically, I wanted to invite you to be asking yourself and your spouse great questions that will help you create an extraordinary marriage. So I've taken some notes here. I'm going to read my notes and ask you these questions so that you can start thinking through this, right? So what you don't want to do, like I watched this comedian, he says, in the South here, there's one word. It says, what you ain't going to do, right? What you're not going to do is this. And here it is. Instead of asking, why does he do that? It's so annoying. You could ask, am I somehow contributing to his behavior? Or how might I influence him to level up? I remember hearing of a gentleman who he would come home, he'd come home late, or sometimes find other ways to not come home, or when he go home, he'd like run to his office and kind of sit in there quietly, and his wife was like, why are you late? Right? And over, and what happens is they start going through some counseling, starting work. He's like, well, I don't want to go home because every time I go home, she's so unpleasant. And so it's called collusion, where somehow inadvertently, maybe unconsciously, you're actually contributing to the behavior you're trying to prevent. And so you come home and get upset. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And he's like, man, why am I going home to that? Right? So it's insightful there. Let's flip it. So instead of asking, man, why is she so emotional or maybe inconsistent in her feelings? It's driving me crazy. Better questions to ask yourself, am I somehow contributing to her emotional state? Or maybe how might I help her feel better more often, right? And fellas, the answer to that question is so easy. Listen to her. Listen, man, listen. She wants you to listen to her, not fix her problems, not give her advice. She just wants you to listen. That's the easy one. All right, let me give you some more here. So always ask yourself, and then this is the framework, right? This is the framework for questions in life and in marriage. Always ask yourself, is this a low quality question or is this a high quality question? Is this a disempowering question or is it an empowering question? Is it a question that reflects victimism or a question that reflects total ownership and accountability and responsibility? So whenever you're thinking through a question, and most of us have subconscious habitual questions and patterns that are just going through our mind all the time, and they just kind of pop up. It's questions like, oh, why me? Why me? Why me? Or how come this always happens? Or how come it never works out, right? And we keep asking the wrong question and coming up with the wrong answer that's not serving us or changing our lives. So here's a few. To wives, right? Ladies, here's an empowering question. What can you do to make him or help him really want to come home after work? That's an empowering question. Right? Here's another one. What can you do to praise and honor his hard work to provide for you and the children? Now, again, you got to quell the critical voices, right? And this is across the board. But if you're like, oh, but he's not doing that much, and oh, he doesn't come home. Oh, this, like, don't do that, right? Because man, men are sometimes we're kind of babies. We do not like to be criticized, and we love when our wives honor us or praise us for doing things. And when you praise something that you like, guess what? He keeps doing it and keeps getting better at it. So those are some good ones there. Next, still with the ladies, are you inadvertently doing anything to push him away or make him want to disengage? Because if this comes up often where wives are like, why isn't my husband more engaged? Why isn't he more present? Why isn't he more like fully into the marriage or the family or the kids or our family activities? And so the question there, the empowering question is, are you inadvertently doing something that's pushing him away or discouraging him from being engaged? Right? Good question. Another one for ladies. What is your major predominant emotion each day? What do you, most of the time on an average day, average week, what are you feeling most of the time? And why? And what would you like it to be? Right? And checking in on your emotional state every day and how your emotional state, here's another one. How is my emotional state affecting the feeling in my home and family and in my marriage? Right? Man, those are great questions. Just kind of go through and think through those things. Okay, now we're going to switch to the men. You guys hear my kids running around, playing? We got a hoverboard right above me. There it is, super loud, and they're running around. So I could be sitting here like, why are my kids making noise? Don't they know I'm making videos? No, they don't. And they're being kids. Better question is like, why am I recording right now where the kids are awake? Proof that we have children. Okay, next to the husbands. How can you give her a break, perhaps from the children, in the evening? Right? And I know you're coming home like, oh, I'm so tired, tough day at work. Oh, no, man. How can you go home and give her a break from the kids? Because you get a step away from work. If she's been home with the kids, in this case, right, then she stays with the kid. How can you give her a break? That's an awesome question. That's a powerful question. How can you give her more rest and recovery time? Ooh, that's good. My wife's taking a trip next week, right? She gets to take a couple of trips she loves to, and I encourage her to take trips every year, right? To just step away and reset. It's amazing. Give your wife time to recover and to rest and to do things that fill her. Ooh, it'll bless your life. And do it for yourself too. Make sure you're getting rest and recovery. Next, how can you help her clear her headspace from overwhelm or stress or frustration? How can you help her clear that out? Because most women, again, this is generalization, but most women have a lot going on, and they're thinking about this and thinking about that and thinking about this, and they got all these files open or all these tabs open, and they're thinking about lots of things. If you can instead get frustrated, like, why does she do that? Why is she worrying about this? She's always worried about that, always thinking about this. Can't she just focus on me? Can't she focus on what we're doing? And can't she just relax and stop stressing? And that doesn't work, right? That's not an empowering question. But the empowering question is, how can I help her close some of those tabs, close some of those folders? How can I help her clear her mind from those things? Another one might be, oh, here's a great one. What energy, gentlemen, are you bringing home? Every one of us is radiating an energy. And what a solid ownership, empowering question to say, what energy am I bringing home? What energy am I radiating all the time? What energy am I creating in my marriage? Here's some other thoughts, right? Just specifically with marriage, if you're like, well, why doesn't my spouse do that differently? When is my spouse going to change? And those kind of thoughts. Those are disempowering victimism questions. The real questions we always have to be asking ourselves. We want an extraordinary marriage. Not a lame marriage, not a dying marriage, not even a good marriage or a great marriage. I want an extraordinary marriage. And so I have to ask super empowering questions. And I'm always going to ask, like, what energy am I bringing to my marriage? What value am I bringing to my marriage? How am I investing regularly in my marriage? What am I doing to create an extraordinary marriage? What can I do to lift our marriage? What can I do to be a better person so that the equation of our marriage, my wife plus me equals our marriage? Well, if I'm better, if I'm improving myself, it automatically improves the sum total of the marriage, right? So what can I do? How can I bless her? How can I help her? How can I serve her? How can I lift her? How can I lift our marriage and do all this stuff? You see what I'm saying? Like, take some ownership, ask those empowering questions. What's going to happen is you're going to come up with some amazing ideas, which will then create amazing results and help you create an extraordinary marriage. So circling back to everything we talked about here, you have to, absolutely have to, ask the right question in order to get the right answer. Oh yeah. Now, speaking of questions, you guys, I have a quiz. It's a super awesome quiz for men, but I mean, ladies, I guess you could go through it and go through it with your husband or whatever, right? Say it, but it's a question. It's really a quiz like, hey, how are you doing as a man holistically? Husband, father, leader, provider, businessman, protector. Like, how are you doing as a man? And this is real honest, beautiful assessment. Say, look, where am I at? How are things going? How am I showing up? And what can I do about it, right? So click that link below, take that quiz, lean in, spend some time thinking and actually writing down super empowering questions to help you get super empowering answers to create the extraordinary marriage and the extraordinary life that you want. Reach upward.